Hey everybody, Scott Jansen in this very special video. I thought I'd teach you how to memorize any hypnosis script or hypnotic script in 30 seconds or less. This will come in sort of two parts. Let's get into the basics, then I'll give you the ultimate cheat. No matter how long the script is, if you wrote it yourself, if you download it, you're given it at your training, whatever it is, I'll show you how to memorize the entire thing word for word in 30 seconds or less. It's quite a cool hack. Let's get through the basics first. So a script timeline, let's go through what an average script or any really normal script or way that you've been taught to write it would look. So you want to have something in their regards to relaxation. You have some deepness, you have some therapeutic suggestions. You might have some visualization, some regression, maybe inner child, which would be more like the therapeutic part. You might have some more suggestions to enhance the therapy. Might be some metaphors, some post-hypnotic suggestions towards the end. You would end trance, usually, and most times therapists are going to give out an audio, have some homework, and they're going to repeat this style of session maybe 4, 6, maybe even up to 10 or 15 times, whatever it is, whatever way you've been taught. That's the average script timeline. There's nothing in there else you would put in there. And we know that, you can read off the piece of paper, you got your client's eyes closed and just basically talk them through this whole process. Pretty simple, okay? So the time for this, it's usually about 60 minutes for all of the above, but that's not including the preparation. So you might have 60 minutes to go through the whole script, but it might take you another 60 minutes plus for the preparation, create the homework, have the audios, get everything set up. So you might be in with a client for your first session, maybe 2 hours, then the next session they come along, you might have another hour or maybe two if you've got to do the same thing again. Times that by, let's say, 4 to 6 sessions, you might spend, let's say, I don't know, 8 to 10 hours with that client using this script approach. Pretty simple. But as you can tell, it's an important thing to know to memorize all this because you're going to have a lot of words you've got to remember, and the timeline has to be very specific. Script types, you might have like the stop smoking, the anxiety, the fears, the phobia. Pretty much every problem out there that a client has, there is a script for it. Some sort of techniques that is embedded inside this script. All of the above, you pretty much can find any script for anything. Repetition. The reason most people taught repetition is because it's said that the unconscious mind learns through repetition. So repeating the same style of session over and over, it's like essentially or eventually the unconscious mind clicks and they become this non-smoker or they become this person without anxiety, etc., etc. Relaxation is said to access the unconscious mind. So we relax the conscious mind, sort of get it out of the way, if you want to use that metaphor. We get access to the unconscious mind, we can relax it, and it's in a better place for your suggestions and basically telling the mind what to do and how to be a different person, how to be a non-smoker, blah, 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 whatever it is. We use relaxation to get rid of the conscious mind because we know the conscious mind will interfere and it will stop those suggestions, embedded commands, and all those things going through. Suggestions are pretty much from pain to pleasure. So you're a smoker, you want to be a non-smoker, you've got anxiety, you want to feel this way instead. It's really from pain to pleasure. It's offering a new way of feeling, a new way of thinking, being or acting as a new person, whatever it is. That's what we call, quote unquote, the breakthrough. Okay. Lastly is more like the post-hypnotic suggestions. This is just like a future pace. So a pretty common one, let's say I've got a non-smoker with me. They come in for the session, I'll say as they're in trance, I might say, as you're driving home and you notice every green light as you drive home, you'll realize how awesome it is that you're a non-smoker and how much of a great person you are. Whatever it is, that's just off the top of my head. It's not the best one, but you get my point. That's how essentially future pace and keep reminding the mind that they're a non-smoker. Lastly is the homework and audios, and this is essentially said to enhance what has been done in the session. I've heard people talk about, you do 50% of the session with the client, and then the homework and audio does the other 50%. Okay. So there's a lot. That's for any new hypnotherapist, this seems like a lot. Okay. So how do we memorize all of this in 30 seconds? How do you memorize the entire script, the layout, the steps without missing a beat and sounding confident when you do it? Well, let's go through this. Okay. Very, very simple. Let's look at this hack. How do you memorize any hypnotic script in 30 seconds? Throw the script in the fucking bin. For those who've been following me for a long time, I think you're expecting me to say this. That was all tongue in cheek before. Throw the script in the bin. Let me explain why. Not only is a script wasting your time and a client's time, there cannot be a hypnotic script no matter what the niche is, no matter what a client problem is, no matter what a client tells you, no matter who you were trained by, a script is not a way to do hypnosis or therapy. Let me explain why. So very simple. If you want to memorize it in 30 seconds, throw it in the bin. You do not need relaxation for therapy. You just need it for hypnosis. I don't know about you, but I've never had a client come to me and say, I want to go into hypnosis. They've always said, I need to quit smoking. I need to overcome this fear of spiders. I need to become confident in my workplace to be able to get a better job and earn more money. Clients pay for therapy, not hypnosis. Now, I know it's unfortunate that so many people are taught that hypnosis and therapy are combined. They are separate. You do not need hypnosis in order to get therapy. Hypnosis becomes a byproduct of very good therapy. Now, I won't get into more details than that because that's very advanced. Just go through our other videos, guys. I'll even leave some links below of our ACH trainings and some of the demos we've done, and you'll see this in action. If you've seen those and wondered, hey, I seen that client get a breakthrough, but where's the hypnosis? That's the point I'm trying to make here, okay? Number 3, metaphors, suggestions, regressions, visualizations are all made up from you. If you've been taught that you have to use, or you should use, or you might use a regression to help someone quit smoking, or it has to be a timeline for anxiety, or it has to be this for this, you now have been taught guessing. There's no way in the world, even for me as a hypnosis trainer, could ever tell somebody what technique is best for this, no matter with my years of experience. Why? Because I'm just guessing. Okay? Your metaphor, suggestion, regression, visualization are all made up from you, the therapist. You are now forcing a client the way you want them to heal and forgetting that their unconscious mind is way more intelligent than you ever could be. Those things are according to what you think. You're now forcing it on a client. What happens if a client can't visualize? It's all just made up on the spot. So if you're expecting to have this box approach, like all clients can fit into this box based on these steps, you'll learn pretty quickly that clients don't work like that. People don't work like that. If one client says they have anxiety, we know this is a symptom, and the next client comes in and says, I have anxiety, those two people are different. Let's forget about the symptom and root causes for a second, even though you've been taught that, but then they say, here's a script for that, which is ridiculous. You now have two people that are totally different. Two people that are telling their example of what they think anxiety is based on what they've experienced. And then you go into this thinking, you've got anxiety, I can use a regression or visualization. You are now guessing. So your clients are guessing, they're making stuff up. You're guessing, you're making stuff up. Put those two things together and it just becomes catastrophic. And it's why it takes so long with that repetition thing. That repetition only exists. You can do the wrong session over and over and over and over and repeat it 100 times. If it's the wrong way to do things, it's the wrong way to do things. Two wrongs do not make a right, guys. So if you're making stuff on the spot, you're forcing your client to go down a healing adventure the way that you want them to, you're making stuff up. If they can't visualize and you're trying to force them to, it's just going to aggravate them. It's all made up. So you want to forget those things. That's why the script goes in the bin. This is important, guys. If someone was to ask me what's the most important principle of mastering therapy, it's this. You cannot prepare anything. 97% of what your client tells you is a guess. Of course it is. If a client says they have anxiety, that's their conscious interpretation of things that are happening unconsciously that they do not have proper access to. Your clients are just guessing. The extent of how deep this goes beyond anxiety is just crazy for everybody. So if someone comes in to say, Scott, I want to quit smoking, that's their symptom. I'm not healing the smoking because that's not the real problem. I don't know what the real problem would be or the root cause of what we call the unconscious payoff would be until I might be halfway into the session. Then I'll get a better understanding. But if I start preparing a stop smoking session, they've given me a symptom. Now I've got a symptom script. 2 symptoms do not make a therapeutic breakthrough. So 97, if not 90% or 99% of what your client tells you is a guess. How could it not be? When people come to me and say, Scott, I've got this problem, they're just guessing. I know this. And I have to interpret what is their guesses and what is real unconscious, what we call unconscious truths. And I only do that by investigating the problem. Excuse me. If you've done an ACH training, you know that we call this the hypnotic interview. It's where we spend most of our time. So you cannot prepare anything, guys. There's no point learning the regression. I've never done a regression in my life. Regressions happen spontaneously if they need to. Visualization, happen spontaneously if they need to. Notice what I said there, if they need to. If my client goes into a regression, I don't have to give them 3 scenes. I don't have to have them explain it to me. The fact they went there means their unconscious mind is in control. It'll work out all the details. I don't need to know. So I don't have to learn regressions. I don't have to learn visualization. I have to learn the timeline, the steps, because steps is saying that all clients are the same, and that is not the case. So your preparation is now based on your clients guessing, and you're guessing catastrophic when it comes through for breakthroughs, and it's why it's taken so long, guys, for your clients to have what they paid for. If the client is a smoker and you use suggestions like You're a non-smoker. You can't. I'm just trying to make this stuff up in my head. You're a non-smoker. You can breathe better. Everything's going to be great now. You're a non-smoker. You won't have the taste in your mouth or anything like that. You can't have anything as a non-smoking suggestion. This is a symptom. Same with anxiety. It's the same with weight loss, guys. Okay. So there's no such thing as suggestion. So if you're looking at your script, a stop smoking script, and your client says, I want to quit smoking, now we know that's a symptom. But every suggestion in there is about non-smoking. It becomes ludicrous. That's why we can't script this stuff. Anytime I've done a stop smoking session, within the first couple of questions, I've already stopped talking about the smoking. We've gone past that. We call this spinning around the symptoms if you get caught in this, where if you're doing a stop smoking session, all you're doing is talking about the smoking, you're just talking about the symptom. So we want to get away from that. I've gone from starting from I'm a smoker, Scott, I want to quit, all the way through to my sister laughed at me because I couldn't tie up my shoelaces when I was 3 years old. It's ridiculous things like that have no reference or nothing to do with the smoking, but that's where the session goes. But if I stayed at the stop smoking level, all I'm doing is fixing that symptom, guys. So there's no such thing as suggestions. We don't need post-hypnotic suggestions. We don't need embedded commands. I don't need language patterns or anything like that, because I don't know what my client's going to reveal unconsciously until it gets revealed. Now, what I do with that stuff, yes, you have to learn this stuff. It's why we teach dealing with principles. We teach our therapists and coaches, NLPs, whoever these people are, how to deal with principles. Principles allows us to get away from using the step-by-step process that boxes clients in. Sure, you have to learn what to do when my client comes up with a metaphor, what they do when they come up, when they go into trance and they're not talking to, what to do when a client goes from I'm a smoker to my sister laughed at me. How do I collapse those realities? You have to learn those things, but they're not techniques. It's dealing with principles. All right. Number 6, post-hypnotic suggestions, the same as above, guys. There's no such thing. If you're trying to work out the best post-hypnotic suggestion, like the one I mentioned before, you are now making stuff up, and it's going to be all about the symptom. It's not smoking we're fixing, guys. If we're not fixing the smoking, we cannot have the stop smoking script. We cannot have the suggestions. We cannot have the post-hypnotic suggestions. And notice we haven't even talked about hypnosis because it doesn't matter. Yes, you've got to learn this stuff, but if you've watched any of our demos, you would have seen this stuff before. And like I said, guys, homework, audios, and repetition are interrupting processing. There is no audio, no more repetition, no more homework that is more powerful than if you get your client's mind into processing where the mind starts to juggle things around, to rewrite the puzzle of their life, to put everything back together in a new form or a new way. Do not interrupt that. We tell our students, don't even let your clients do like any visualization stuff at home. Don't let them listen to audios. Don't let them meditate. Don't let them do it. Basically tell your client, hey, get on with your life. This is what you'll experience while you're processing. This is all the right thing. Let it settle down. Do not interrupt it. If you're creating audios and giving homework, you're going to interrupt the most important part of any therapy. And it's where the unconscious mind, which is way more intelligent than you ever think you could be, it's going to interrupt what the unconscious mind is doing for the client. If you've done a great therapy session, you've untied the knot, you've let all the realities collapse, you've actually fixed the root cause instead of just dealing with the symptom. Your client is what we say is the client's now in the oven. They're baking. Let them bake. Let the cake rise before you eat it. That's what you want to let your clients do, guys. Okay. So guys, throw your scripts in the bin. Sure, you have to learn how to do this. I'll leave some links below to check out more of how to do that, guys. But if you're stuck working with clients, you're having to see them 6, 8, 10, 12, I've even seen up to 25 times just to quit smoking. Your business won't scale. You're spending 10s, 20s, 30 hours with clients and not getting anywhere. This is why. It doesn't matter who your mentors were, what they're saying. They're even saying these things, guys. They are telling you, and they'll say this in layman's terms, that all problems exist in the unconscious mind. But here is a script to fix what your client tells you. Your client does not have access to their unconscious mind. That's why they're stuck in their problem. If they did, we wouldn't have a job. I wouldn't need to be talking about this stuff. But they don't. It's the same reason why it's hard to change your problems. It's hard to get over your problems, guys, and deal with those things. You cannot put this all in a script. You cannot memorize it. All in all, guys, if you're telling your clients what to do, you're creating suggestions on the spot, you're forcing clients into regressions of visualization, you are now trying to take control of what should be an unconscious process in your client. Take a step back, change your position, let their mind heal them. You're just basically setting them up. You're putting the cake in the oven. You've put the cake together based on all the ingredients. You put it in the oven. The oven is the unconscious mind. It will bake without your intervention. Okay? So guys, hopefully that was informative. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.